Hello everyone. I've just realised that I haven't put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Let me see if I can do that because I don't want to get interrupted while we're live. I usually put my phone on Do Not Disturb so no one can contact me while this is going on, and I'm hoping that it's going to work. Okay. Can everyone hear me all right? Okay. Let me see. It's warm here today. I just realised I'm sweating. Goodness me. It's like 33 or something, which is not crazy hot, right? What's wrong with us? I remember all those 40-degree days when we were kids, and I seem to handle them much better then than I do now. Anybody else find it the same? Hello, Marilyn. Hi, Tanya. Nice to see you. Hello, Roz. Hi. Yay. Hello, Judy. Oh, we've got all the crowd here today as far as I can see. Sheila is here. Leslie, hi. They've got both Leslies. We have Leslie Smith and we have Leslie Outback Stamping. I think it's Leslie Annabelle, right? Oh, thank you very much. Oh, good news about your son, Leslie. That's so good. I'm just looking at comments as they pop up. That is wonderful news indeed. And you guys heard the news that my dad is doing much better. So yay. Thank you everyone for all your prayers. So grateful. That's fantastic. All right. It's good to have some good news, right? Because I know things aren't always good news. I know that there's all sorts of rotten, yucky things that happen. But that's why we craft, because when we craft, we forget all about all the other things going on in the world, and it's lovely to have that little bit of an escape. So I think of craft as my escape. You guys, what do you think? It's humid. Yeah, it's humid here too, Susan. Definitely. Yeah, I know, Marty. Much, much more. When I was young, I loved summer. It was my favourite season, ice creams and, all the things that you do in summer to keep cool all made me happy. Now I'm happy when, not that I don't love the cold, but I do love all the cozy, nice things you do in winter to keep warm. So, sitting by a fire, an electric blanket or a hot water bottle or, all those nice things, hot chocolates. Yay. That does make you have snow in Colorado, Janine. Oh, wow. And it's your escape too, Katrina. I know, right? And there's science behind this to actually say, yes, it's really, really good for your brain and for your mental health to have a hobby, and especially if it's something creative. So what we do fits right in with that. It's so, so good for your brains to actually relax and create. And that's what we're going to do today. Yay. I'm just having a look to see if I've missed any comments. Hello, Donna. Hello, Margaret. Now, I'm sorry about the later time today. I had to push it back a little bit because my car had a broken windscreen, which had to be replaced this morning because you can't let these things go, right? And so it was in at the repair shop this morning, and I wasn't sure. They had told me how long it should take, but I wasn't 100% sure that I'd be back here at my desk in time, so I just pushed it back half an hour to be safe. There you go. Christmas caroling. That sounds like a fun thing to do. I see that sort of thing. We don't do that here, but, it's something I, remember from the movies. Oh, your youngest granddaughter's got her L's. That's exciting. Look out, world, right? Look out, Glenda. Oh, my goodness. Yes, it is good news. Thanks, Lani. I really appreciate that. And you were right what you said in that comment the other day. It must be the wall spirit. They're tough old things. They sure are. They really are. All right. I know that's what happened. Yeah, it was just a little tiny chip that was right over on the passenger side, and I didn't even spot it straight away. My husband went, oh, when did that happen? It must have happened somewhere on our trip back from visiting my dad. And then my car was parked in the driveway on Sunday. I forget what day it was. And sitting in the hot sun, it had that little star had spread right across the windscreen. So yeah, it had to be completely replaced. Thankfully, I have windscreen insurance included in my insurance plan, which means it didn't cost me a cent. Hooray! Thoroughly recommend paying that extra whatever little bit of money it is each year to cover your windscreen, because it's the second time I've had to use it. So definitely worth it. Hello, Margaret from Illinois. Nice to have you with us. Hey, Maureen. Okay. All right. Let's get going. I've picked an old technique today. So I'm sure for some of you this is old and, we'll just put a new spin on it. So it'll still be fun. But for some of you, and I would love to know who this is a new technique before. Now, I've heard people call it different things. I've heard some people call it triple treat. I'm calling it triple time stamping. And some of you, when I start to show you, some of you go, oh, yeah, I remember this one. Okay. Some of you might know straight away what I'm talking about. So let's switch over to the desk and let's get going. All right, here we go. Just having a little look and make sure I'm centered on the screen, because there's nothing worse than being crooked, right? All right, so I've got some pieces here. All right, so I'm going to be doing some stamping today. This is actually a card front size piece. So this is 10 centimeters by 14.3, which is my normal card front size. Okay, so this would go straight onto a card base. And then I've got some other pieces that I've cut. All right, so I've got, this is, now these can be any size. You do not have to stick with these measurements. What is important is that if you're going to be matting these, and I'll show you this in a second. Actually, let's show you right now. Okay, so this piece I cut to be 8 centimeters wide by 12, 8 by 12. All right, but any size is fine. And then you're going to have another piece that, in my case, I chose to make 1/2 centimeter bigger. Okay, does everyone know what I'm talking about here? So oh, Judy's asking what is a paddle pop. Oh, Judy, you're missing out if you don't know what paddle pops are. We have paddle pops are an ice cream, or you guys call them, what do you call them? You have a special name for them that is not our name, but, you know, an ice cream on a stick, basically. Frozen ice cream on a stick. Yep. Yes, I loved my paddle pops, and chocolate paddle pops were my favorite too, Margaret. And then we have the paddle pop lion. The paddle pop lion was used to advertise paddle pops, and he's synonymous with paddle pops. So paddle pops were a big thing when we were kids, right? Yeah, popsicle. That's what I'm trying to think of. Exactly, like popsicles. That's right. But it was an interesting thing. It wasn't it was like a very hard, chewy ice cream. So I'm not sure what they put in it to make it like that. But, you know, I think of an ice lolly more as an like iced water on a stick. And we used to make our own icy poles, as we called them. The icy poles were, you know, like lemonade or lemon cordial, frozen in the freezer with a stick inside, and you got to eat those in summer, and they were heaps of fun. Okay, but you can't beat a chocolate paddle pop. I know, Katrina, that's right. An ice lollipop in the UK. Everyone's got different names for them, right? Well, I don't know if there's another name for it. Does anyone else know of another name for this technique? Because Glenda's saying she didn't know this method was called this. Triple time stamping is what I've mostly seen it out there as. I used to call it triple treat, but then when I was doing a bit of research for this technique today, triple treat looks like it's also a different technique again. So I don't know. You can probably call it what you like. Anyway, I've got 3 pieces. Okay, so I've got a white piece that's 8 by 12, and then I have a white piece that is, I've got to remember 6 by 10. Okay, and this little piece here is 4 by 7. Okay, and then what I've done is I've made a mat 1/2 centimeter bigger on each side. So, you know, this one goes behind here and this one goes behind here. All right, so when our card is finished, okay, it's going to have different layers like this, and I'm going to show you a couple of different ways to do this. This is just the first way, and it's a really simple stamping technique, but I actually really love the result of this. All right, and you can get you can get very creative with this. All right, so I'm just lining them up so they're all centered inside each other like this. Okay, so that's how they're going to kind of finish up. I mean, it'll be straight because I'll make sure it's straight, but you get the idea. Okay, triple time stamping too? Right, Roz, I wasn't sure. I'm glad to know I'm not the only one calling it that. All right, so we're going to be stamping on this, but what we're going to do is we're going to take out all the blue layers. Okay, so I've made my matte layers in advance, and I'm going to put them to one side, and then I'm going to assemble this over here on. Now, if you have repositionable glue, that is really, really handy for this. All right, I'll mark there, because it's going to stop it from moving. Okay, now I'm going to be stamping on these pieces without the blue, so stamping on all of them at the same time. Okay, now if you have, like I said, you can put a little tiny bit of repositionable glue between each layer. Now currently we don't really sell repositionable glue. The closest thing we would have would be Tombow, which is kind of repositionable until it's dry. Once it's dry, it's not repositionable, but we could do that. we could just put a little bit of Tombow in between each layer and do our stamping quickly. I'm putting a mat underneath it because I want to make sure I get the best image I possibly can. Okay, and you're going to get a better image. I'm just putting one little layer, one little dot of glue under each one. I just want it to hold its position. But if you have repositionable glue, even better. All right, so there you go. So this is my card base size here at the bottom, and then I've got 3 layers on top of that. Then I'm going to bring in a stamp. Now you can use one big stamp. You can use lots of little stamps, but I'm using one big stamp. I'm using the Layers of Beauty photopolymer stamp. That's this one right here. Okay. And that's the one I've decided to use. And I'm going to come in. You can use whatever color you like. I've decided to do mine in Mossy Meadow, which is a dark, dark green. It can be as many layers as you want. There's actually no official way, and the layers don't all have to be the same shape either. So I'm going to, when I show you another card next, I'm actually going to show you different ones. So let's position this so it fits, or close to fits, all over this whole thing. All right, so I'm going to make sure I give it a really good press. Yep, 3 layers of cardstock, hence the triple bit of it, but you can actually have more layers if you wanted, or less if you wanted, although I don't think it's as much fun with less layers. All right, so can you see what we've got now? We've got all these layers, but we have one image. All right, now I'm going to pull this apart because I only remember used one little bit of, and it doesn't matter, this is going to be hidden, so it doesn't matter if it rips a tiny, tiny bit, but I did not want it to move. So, okay, I'm just going to pull that off. Okay. All right, doesn't matter because we're going to be covering that up. All right, so this piece, remember, has this piece under here. Let me show you something first. When you put this back down, there's a tiny gap. Can you see there's a gap here? And this is why this is a little bit of magic in this technique. There's a little bit of a gap formed by the difference in height between the 2 pieces of paper. Now you wouldn't think it would make that much difference, but there's actually a little bit of, because there's a tiny bit of a gap there where the height difference means that it doesn't stamp right into the corner up against that piece. So there's a little bit of a gap next to each one. You can kind of see it more on the top here. You can see the gaps. Can you see it there? Can you see what I mean? Ooh, with the tie background stamp. That would be great, Janine. You can do it with pattern paper too. They both work. But I think as a stamping technique, it's the most wow you get is from a stamping technique. This is very close also to the telescoping technique. All right, so what I'm talking about is this gap. But because we're going to be bringing in our mats, the gap doesn't matter. All right, so this one is going to go on here. And this one's going to go on the next one and so on, okay? And so on. Like that. So basically these matte layers fill in the gaps so it actually looks like we've actually stamped over a whole, like all the different heights of the paper. Oh, thanks, Judy. That's lovely. You know, it's so nice to revisit old techniques, isn't it? All right, so the only thing is I think it's easier if you have repositionable glue. I think it's easier to color this in before. And the reason I pulled it apart was because I didn't want it to, once I let it sit there too long, it was going to stick, okay? If you have repositionable glue, it doesn't matter so much because you can come back in later and you know, and you can add your color and then come back and separate them. But with me using Tombow, I had to pull them apart straight away. All right, but anyway, you get the idea. So what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to color this in, okay? It gives me a little bit of a better idea of coloring in without the layers. And then we get to decide, you know, what colors we want to have. I could use blends. I could use markers. I could use, I'm just deciding. I'm actually thinking, will I use, what do you guys think? Maybe we should just use blends. The only thing is blends will go through, but it isn't going to matter if they go through underneath because you're not going to see underneath anyway. All right, let's pick a couple of colors. Maybe pretty in pink would be nice. And maybe some... I've got lemon lolly here and maybe some old olive for the I've got like Mossy Meadow as well. There's a dark old olive. And there's that's light Mossy Meadow. And then I've also got dark Mossy Meadow. I've got all the colours. Let me just play around with these a little bit. So dark and light Pretty Peacock. Sorry, Pretty Peacock. Pretty and Pink. What am I saying? And I'm going to use my... Now, some people say, I've heard people say, but you've got to use Memento for blends, don't you? Actually, no, you can use any water-based ink. Blends is just, Memento is just one option. And I'm just going to come in here and add a few layers. And I'm only going to colour this really roughly because, you know, the colouring isn't part of the technique we're doing today. The technique is the matting and the triple time stamping. So I'm just going to come in here and add some colour. If you leave a little bit of white, it gives it a bit more life and energy. So don't worry about colouring absolutely every single thing in your image. All right, I'm liking that. What was the question? Is the stamp a current one? I think it's the spiral die, I think it was called, and it sold. I'm pretty sure that was the last. It retired with the last catalogue, almost certain, because I'm sure I pulled it out. I know it's not in my. If it's not sitting on my shelf, it's not current. So I go a bit quiet when I, actually I need to go a bit quiet when I am colouring because, you know, it takes my concentration. I'm using the small end. It's a little bit too smaller area to do the big fat end. I usually start with my darker color and then use my lighter color to blend, but because the leaves are so small, it doesn't really matter. So we'll just come in and do a little bit of colouring here. I'm sorry I'm not looking at your comments while I'm colouring because I'm kind of concentrating, but you know how that is. You have to forgive me and talk amongst yourselves or something. Yes, that's good. Watercolour World, I didn't think of that one, and that's a great one to do. I've totally forgotten about watercolour. You know what, there's a stamp set I don't get out very often, and I really should because it's a lovely stamp set and there's a lot you can do with it. Now I'm thinking I might go with, for the little daisies here, I'm going to colour them in yellow. And I might colour yellow for this rose as well. Anyway, you're getting the idea, I hope. It is, I just realised I have completely messed this up because I've got another one to do and it's got Mossy Meadow and I should have cut these. I got my colours wrong, guys. We might have to recut the mats because I don't want blueberry bushel mats with this. I was going to do, what am I doing? Oh my gosh. Never mind. Doesn't matter. Watercolour World. Yeah, that's a great stamp set, and I have not used it nearly as much as I should have. We had a world stamp a few years ago. I've forgotten the name of it now, but it was a really nice stamp set, and it had like a big map of the world, and that's the one that I used for my wedding invitations because my husband and I lived on opposite sides of the world. He was living in the US, and when we got married, of course, he moved over here. But but that meant, you know, we were able to play around with this world stamp set for our wedding invitations. I put a little heart in the US and a little heart on the Australian side, and yeah, it's super cute. I probably could do better colouring than what I'm kind of rushing it a little bit, but that's okay. I'm hoping you're getting the idea. But I am going to recut the mats. So the question is, what colour will I do them? I mean, I could do them in Mossy Meadow, or I could do them in another colour. I mean, black would look nice because that would give it a lot of drama. What do you guys think about that idea? A globe that looks like a Christmas tree ornament. Oh, that's a nice stamp. That'd be a lovely idea. So I hope you're getting to see what I'm trying to achieve here. So when we put these up against each other with a mat in between, it's going to look like it's one seamless picture, kind of. Right, so I'm thinking I might make this a yellow rose. Oh, no, I might make that one a pink one. And then I use the light one. I'm going to kind of blend that a little bit. And then this is part of the same rose as what we've got on the other bit. We're getting there, nearly there, guys. I have to colour a few more of these little daisies. So I'm kind of going over the edges of the layers a little bit just to kind of make it look like it continues, like the pattern continues. This is dark old olive, but it's not too dark. It's a little bit darker than the light Mossy Meadow, but I mean, these probably should have been, these are more buds and they probably should have been pink, but that's okay. They can be green. All right. I just realized that that should be a green leaf. So just colouring over it. Nearly there with the colouring. I'm sorry I'm not paying you guys any attention right now. But, you know, colouring is just one of those things you have to concentrate, right? All right. I'm going to do a couple more flowers out here. Another yellow daisy. And then we've got a couple more leaves. Oh, we've got another daisy down here. It is very pretty, isn't it? I mean, I'm not being particularly careful. Did you notice that? I'm sort of I'm trying to go quickly, but also I'm not taking, you know, all that much time about my work. I could certainly be more careful than I am, but that's okay. And because there's going to be a little bit of a gap covered up by the matte in the middle. Now, I wasn't watching when I was asking what color matte I should do. Did people actually tell me what matte they wanted? Hi, Gina. Nice to have you with us. Blueberry bushel is a good blue, but yeah, you could use DSP in between the layers. Maybe a turquoise blue. Black sounds good, says Barbara. Mossy, says Leslie. I could do mossy, but let's do black just to show you what that looks like, okay? I mean, I think it would be quite nice. But I'm just going to grab some black out of my scrap drawer. And I will cut it according to these pieces. So my big piece is 8 by 12, so that means my big black piece has to be 8.5 by 12.5. So I'm going 1/2 centimeter bigger on each size. Okay, now if you're in the US, you probably go about 1/4 inch bigger on each side, roughly. All right, so this piece is going to go under here. All right, so you can see I've just colored, and I've been pretty rough with it, but that's okay. That piece is going to go there, and I'm now going to go take my Tombow, and this time I'm actually going to glue it down to the black matte. Okay, so the black matte, or whatever matte color you use, is going to cover the gap created when we stamped earlier. So that is why we want these layers. So I did ask the question earlier, but I'm not sure I saw the answer. Who has never done this technique? Or who's seen it and wonders how you would do the technique? Now, can you see that you can see the leaves continuing through? I'm just going to add a little bit more color there. All right. And then the next layer. This one is 6 by 10. So that means my black piece needs to be 6.5 by 10.5. All right, so let's go 6.5 by 10.5. So 1/2 centimeter smaller on each side. So that one is now going to go here, which means you're going to have the same size mat as the one, like the same amount of mat around our piece as the earlier piece. So I'm going to wax some glue behind that. Doesn't matter what glue you use. You can use any glue you like. That's okay, Gina. Never too late, and never ever apologize about being late. It's just lovely to have everyone here. So I want everyone to feel comfortable that, you know, we understand. People are here from all parts of the world, and you've got all sorts of things that you're doing. Okay, now this piece is going to go there. Now, can you see that the pattern is starting to match up? Have I got that around the right way? Hang on a second. Ah, that's better. I'm thinking, why does that not look right? Because I had it upside down. That'd be why. Okay, that's better. All right, now the last piece, I need my last little bit. This one's the smallest piece, and I've made this white piece 4 by 7, but you can make it any size. Okay, it does not matter about the size. And I'm going to do another card in a moment. So I'm making this 1/2 centimeter bigger on each side, 4.5 by 7.5. It does not matter. Okay, the black looks quite good. I rather like it. All right, so thank you for choosing black as it gives it a lot more contrast, right? And I'm going to show you in a minute what I was talking about when I said it doesn't matter what shape you have. What matters is that your mat matches the shape that you've chosen. So I'm going with rectangles in this case. You could also use dies, okay? So if you don't want to measure it, you could use dies. Now, I can just glue this straight down, one on top of the other, and it will work just fine, okay? So that's actually going to be lovely if I just did it like that. Can you see that? However, if you want to, you can put layers, and I could put dimensionals behind them and layer them up. You could do that. So totally up to you if you want to do it or not. Or you might just put, you know, dimensionals behind 1 or 2 layers. Okay, so I could put dimensionals behind the base layer and layer that up a little bit, and then maybe behind the top layer. That would look nice. Okay, what do you guys think? Flat or dimensionals? The black does look good. I know, Marty, it does. And yep, Tanya said it's very striking. I agree. All right. What does everyone think? I think the black does make it pop, and it was a really good suggestion. Thank you. All right. So I'm thinking I'm going to glue this one straight down. So this second layer, the middle layer, I'm going to put straight down on the layer below. Dimensionals. Okay. All right. So this, we just need to make sure that the pattern continues, and you can kind of see when you put it down that it does do that. So we want our, can you see how the pattern is continuing from one layer to the next? Okay. And then this one is going to go straight down here. I can put that flat and then just put this one on dimensionals if I wanted, which would look nice, by the way. Or we could put them all flat and then I could put a sentiment on top on dimensionals if I wanted. Or we could put no sentiment on because we don't want to cover up anything. And, you know, I mean, it's totally up to you. This is such an easy technique. All right. Dimensionals would make it, if you use dimensionals behind every layer, it does make it harder to mail. And that is why I probably wouldn't put dimensionals behind every layer unless you were just going to give it to someone like in a gift bag or something like that. So I'm thinking I might put this one on dimensionals. Let's see how that looks. And then maybe the others flat. Oh, and I've just realized I've got white dimensionals, but I think I have some black dimensionals, and those are going to look at, I love black dimensionals. Who does not have black dimensionals? I know you don't need them, but I'll show you why I love them. Okay, when you put them on the black, you can see them, okay, because the whites, the little white bits are white, obviously, the dimensional backings are white. When you take them off, where did it go? Oh my goodness, it's like magic. They're gone. They're still there, let me tell you, but you cannot see them on the black, and that's what makes them so good. They're really hard to see, which makes them, I think, pretty cruisy on your cards. All right, so I'm trying to match up my pattern. That's looking pretty good. All right, so that piece then is up on dimensionals, but that's the only layer I put up on dimensionals. I could put the base layer on dimensionals too, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to leave it like it is. Totally up to you. This technique actually has a lot of totally up to you moments. You know, you can change it as much as you like. So I'm making sure that my pattern matches and it's going all the way through. That's looking good. So this size stamp is good because you just have a little bit going onto the base there like that. What do you think? Do we like it? So then we would need to decide what color card base we want to have. You could pick any of these colors that we've used. Pretty and pink would look nice, and so would lemon lolly. What do you think? Which one will we go with? It is really effective, but it is an easy technique. It's not difficult. You've just got to make sure that whatever size cardstock you cut, you have a mat slightly bigger that is going to match up with each layer. Okay, so super easy to do. Yeah, thank you for the thumbs up, girls. I do appreciate them. Do you know there's every time you comment, every time you hit the like button, every time you give me a thumbs up, it really does help me to be seen by more people. But the thing that helps the most of all is to share my posts. Okay, if you're able to share a video, or if you're able to share, you know, doesn't matter to where, anywhere you like. If you share it, that is where I get the most engagement, and Facebook goes, oh, people are interested in this content. We'll show it to more people. So that's kind of cool. Ah, well, you know, the ones that come in a kit, Janine, are good too. They work the same way, so that's really good. I've had a couple of people saying we should maybe use Pretty in Pink, so I'm going to grab a piece of Pretty in Pink cardstock because it would look nice, don't you think? I think that looks good. And I'm going to cut my piece of A4 cardstock in half. If you're using US letter, you cut that in half, so it makes no difference. Just go half a sheet, no matter what size paper you have, and that's going to create your card base. So let me grab a bone folder, and this is going to go like so. Now, what do you think, guys? Should we have a sentiment, or would that interfere too much with everything? And I just have a sentiment on the inside. That is the question. No sentiment or a sentiment? If we did have a sentiment, I could use a banner going off to one side. Oh, I'm glad you like it. I do like pretty in pink. You know, pink is not my favorite color of all. I do like it, but, you know, I prefer blues and greens. But I do really like this pretty in pink. I think this is a beautiful color. It's a really nice pink. No sentiment, no sentiment. Okay, so just one on the inside. We could do that. Yes, we could do a very small one up here where there's not much happening. I did think of that. Of course, some bling would be nice, and I've got some, so we've got some pretty in pink bling, which would be lovely. Let's try some of that. Let's have one here on this corner, and then maybe a small one up over here, and maybe a little guy up here somewhere. There we go. There we go. I'm going to call that a finished card, and we'll do our. I'll probably put a piece inside and stamp my sentiment there. And I think that actually is quite nice. What do you think? Do we like it? Everyone's saying the same. Everyone's saying no sentiment. So I think you're right. But yeah, if I was going to add one, I would add it up here in the top left corner. And I've just realized I missed a little bit. Oh my goodness. Can't help it. I've got to come back here and add a bit more yellow. I missed a petal. The good thing about black too is you know, it's kind of hides a few sins. All right, I'm happy with that. That's looking really good. All right, shall we do another one? All right, we've got a bit of time. So most often my Technique Tuesdays last about an hour, okay, and it gives me time to try a couple of different cards and maybe make a couple of, I mean, I can come back and do more, but I want to show you how you would do this with dies. So basically, if you want to do it with dies, I went through my die collection. I don't have every single one. For example, I don't have the deckled rectangles. There's a few that I don't have, but you'll be looking for nested dies. Okay, by nested dies, I mean shapes that fit one inside the other. So, you know, all these nested circles here, those would be great. All right, then we have some squares. Squares and circles work well. The everyday details dies, those ones have a lot of nested shapes. Just show them to you really quickly. So everything I'm showing you is available for purchase, right? So you can see these nested dies all work one inside the other. And we have some. So for example, if you didn't want to actually measure and make your mats to fit your panels, you could use your nested dies as the mats. Okay, so that's another possibility. The nested essentials, well, that's all in the name, isn't it? This one's great because you can use these. Also, if you are wanting to use the telescoping technique, which I might do another Technique Tuesday, do the telescoping technique because it's a little bit similar to this, similar but different. So that would be another one. Thank you, Judy. That's awesome. I really appreciate that. I'm the same, Janine. I'm the same with pink. Yeah. All right, so these all telescope kind of down from a big one to a small one, and because there are 4, you could certainly use these for your triple time stamping. Okay, you could use these if you wanted to. Okay, now the one I like the look of particularly was the countryside corners. I've got perennial postage. Those all do the same. Spotlight on nature. Those do the same. So we've got a whole bunch of different ones that all, you know, nest one inside another kind of thing. So the countryside corners, those are fantastic, and that's these shapes. Okay, what did I do with those? I don't know what I did with them. Hang on a second. I think they're here. Here they are. These are the countryside corners. All right, so these all nest one inside the other. Okay, and these work for this technique as well. So I have used the 4 largest ones out of here to do, let me pull this out of the way, to do this. Okay, so here's my card front again. Okay, I'm just doing it on white, but you could do it on any color you like. And then I've got the biggest one, the next biggest one, the next biggest one, and the next biggest one. So they all fit one inside the other. And now we've got a different shape rather than just rectangles. Does that make sense to everybody? Yes, lots and lots of choices for nesting. Exactly right. So this works well, but in order for us to stamp on here, we need to get rid of the green ones or the mats. Okay, we're just going to have this on top of here. Okay, now if you're only doing one stamp, you can probably get away with not using glue underneath. What I'm doing is I'm just trying to make sure it's right in the center and it's straight. Okay, but I thought another shape in here would be interesting. So I'm actually going to have another shape, and it's going to go here. This is 2 punches. This is the one, hang on, let me think. The 1 3/4 inch punch, and this is the 2-inch punch. Okay, so here's my mat, and here is my focal piece. All right. Now you could add this with a sentiment after. Will I do that? I haven't decided. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll do exactly that. I'm going to use the Spotlight on Nature dies, and I'm going to position these, like I said to you before. You'll need to move fairly quickly. I'm just going to have a dot of glue under here just to hold it in place, and then another one. So you kind of position them where you want them first and then put your glue on. But better if you have repositionable glue. Much, much better. Because these can end up ripping your cardstock off. All right, so I'm just putting that there for now. And then I'm going to come in. I should have had these already on a block, but never mind, doesn't matter. So this one's going to go on block E, which is the block that fits best for this one. And then I've got a leaf here. Let me pop that on a block. Oh, actually, that one kind of goes over a little bit, but it doesn't matter. And maybe a butterfly. I haven't decided whether I want to use anything else yet, but let's start with those. Actually, yeah, I am going to use another one. I'm going to pop that on block C. All right, so I've got 4 stamps here. All right, so I've got my Mossy Meadow pieces. So this is what I intended to do before, to use Mossy Meadow to do my stamping with. But you could also use Night of Navy. You could use Early Espresso. Actually, Early Espresso would have been nice. Maybe I should have done that. Early Espresso. It's going to be completely dry by the time I get back to it, but oh well. Let's see how we go. I'm going to go Early Espresso because I think that's nice. You could go black, of course. All right. And where do I want these to go? So I'm thinking this one should go straight down this side. And I'm going to make sure I'm on a mat, remember, just to give myself the best chance of getting a really well stamped image. Okay, like that. Can you see the gap there at the top? You can see that little gap. That's okay. Then I'm going to use Early Espresso again. And I'm going to have my butterfly up in this top left corner. And, oh, I got a tiny bit of overstamping on there, but that's okay. I'm just going to pretend that didn't happen. And I was going to use this one, but I'm not going to. But I am going to come in with my Early Espresso, and we've got a bit of a, kind of a, what do you think? Yeah, let's just say that's good. Oh, and I overstamped on that too. I'm not having a good day with the overstamping. Oh, well. You get to see what I'm trying to do, though. So I'm going to just let it go. And we're going to cover part of that with a mat anyway. All right. So now that I've got this on here, I'm going to actually separate these so they don't completely glue. And I've only used a dot on each one, so it's not too bad. The bottom one's the one I added the most glue to, and that's the one that's going to stick the most. All right. So what colours will I do now? I'm thinking I'm going to come in with my Lemon Lolly again with this. And I'm just going to colour. And I'm thinking I might add a bit more of another colour. And you don't need to worry about trying to, you know, have these absolutely perfectly coloured. But I'm going to add maybe some Calypso Coral would be nice. I love Calypso Coral. This is it's actually a colour I just think looks lovely with lots and lots of things. And it looks nice with Lemon Lolly or Daffodil. Looks good with both of those. What colour will we do our butterfly, guys? How about some Blackberry Bliss with yellow maybe. I like purple and yellow together on a butterfly. I don't know why. So is this the dark or the light? That's the dark. All right, so let's start with some. And I'm going to use my blending brush. It's lighter now to blend that out so it's not too dark. And I think daffodil would be good, but do I even have any daffodil? You know what? I just bought some. I just bought new daffodil because my old one was looking a bit, I think I might have thrown the old one out actually. So let's come in here with the, this is the light and this is the dark. All right, let's try doing the dark. I like the way the purple and the yellow kind of blend together. All right, so, and I'm thinking maybe for the, did I buy, this is, oh, lemon lime twist. This is a new color for me. I just got these. I got them in the stamp sale we had, the sale they had a couple of weeks ago. This is the dark. So I'm thinking lemon lime twist might really brighten this up a little bit. It does look rather good, doesn't it? And then let's come out here with our lighter color. I'm very happy with the lemon lime twist. That's a new one for me. Now, these pieces are all just sitting here, but I have room on here to put a little thanks, which I think would look good. So I'll do that in early espresso as well. And I'm having issues today. I don't know if I'm stamping too hard or what I'm doing, but I keep getting a halo around some of my stamping. That's better. All right. So I'm going to say that's probably enough for now. And I'm going to start putting my, so this piece here, just pick that up and I'm going to put that straight onto the lower piece. Here's a little tip in case you haven't heard this before. When you're gluing together, always put your glue onto the smaller item. If you put it onto the big one, you can accidentally not know how big the other piece is that you're putting on and put it too close to the edges, and then you have glue poking out, or you get glue, you know, squeezing out from behind because you went too close. But if you put it behind the small one, you don't ever have that problem. That might sound very simple, but it's a good tip. It took me, that's one of those things that took me a little while to work out. I tell you what, I did this technique, Marilyn. That's my favorite butterfly too. And if you go up to Daintree, you'll see them everywhere. They're fantastic up in far north Queensland. That's something, I've only been up there a couple of times, but I absolutely love the Ulysses butterflies up there. All right, so then this one is going to have the big one on the back. What did I start to say? I started to say something. We used to have a stamp set called the Swallowtail. Does anyone remember it? It was a great big butterfly on a background stamp. And I loved it. It was fantastic. Such a great stamp. All right, we're just about ready to start putting this together. I'm just going to glue this piece down flat. You could, of course, lift it on dimensionals, as we've talked about with the earlier card, but I'm just going to put mine on flat. There's lots of choices that, now I'm trying to line this up so that you can see there's not a lot of that flower sticking out, is there? Oh, well, that's okay. that. And then this one's going to go on here. So we've lost a little bit with the gaps because I'll tell you why. Because these are a bigger mat. There's a wider mat than the black that we did earlier, which was 1/2 centimeter bigger. And sometimes I think if your mat's too big, you lose too much of your design. It's still going to look okay when we're done, but just bear that in mind that you do lose more the thicker your mat is, which makes sense, right? Now, this one, can you see we didn't even need, you don't even need to have the same shape. You can have any shape you like. Also, you don't have to have them straight. You could actually have them skew if and then do your stamping and then add your mats, and that would work as well. You do not have to have them all aligned, basically. You can have them any shape you like. But that swallowtail butterfly was such a good stamp for this particular technique. Bigger stamps, I think, work really well, or several smaller stamps. Okay. It's looking pretty good. You get an idea. You still have that stamp, Gina. I know it was fantastic, wasn't it? So I don't like this one as much because I think the mats are too wide. But you can do other shapes, and it does give you a bit more. Well, it's still fine. And if your design, for example, my stamping is, you know, it's fairly precise. You've got flowers on the end of things. If you were to use like an all-over stamp design, for example, if you use this one, the leaf collection, I think that one would be really good with wider mats, because this one, it doesn't matter as much. You can just see it's a whole bunch of leaves, whereas this is more, there's a butterfly and there's a flower, and it's a little bit more. You probably need a thinner mat for this one, but I still wanted to show it to you because I think it's a really great way of showing that you can use any shapes and you can use dies to achieve this as well. All right, so this time I'm thinking, seeing as I have the lemon lime twist leaves, let's do a lemon lime twist card base. Oh no, I don't like it with the mossy meadows so much. What do you think? Is that too bright? Maybe. Let's try lemon lolly and see what that looks like. That's better. What do you guys think? Oh, another possibility, and I already have some cut, is soft sea foam. That would be interesting. What do you think about that? This is a color I don't use very often, but I do like it. Oh, blackberry. Yes, that would be nice. I like the thinner mat better as well. Yep. Would it? Yes, it would work with the dog background stamp. Absolutely. Yep. So we've got different people. I will pull out. My favorite so far is the lemon lolly, but I'm going to pull out the blackberry bliss because it was suggested. So let's just pull that out and see what it looks like. Ooh, that's nice. What do you guys think? You would definitely, with a dark color like this, you'd definitely have to put a white layer inside for writing on. Absolutely. But you could do it. And don't you think, I did this on white, but I think with the blackberry, I think vanilla would have looked really nice. Oh, lots of different people are all suggesting different things. Goodness me. Well, I'm glad to hear that you haven't tried it before, and that I hope, Linda, you'll give it a try, because it's very, very easy. But I think that the way to get your design to really show up well is to use thinner mats. Okay, and this is 1/2 centimeter. 1/2 centimeter. How close is that to 1/4 of an inch? Let me just have a look. I'm just checking for the US girls. It's pretty close. Yeah, 1/4 of an inch is slightly bigger. So you could go 1/4 of an inch, or if you wanted to make a really thin mat, you could make it an 1/8 of an inch. But somewhere in between the two is probably good. Oh, no. You realise you're down to your last sheet of berry burst. My goodness me, Donna. I'm like that. When we sometimes I use a particular colour. Like I go for a lot of pool party cardstock. I just seem to use that colour a lot. Anyone want to guess what my least used colour is? Those of you who know what colour I'm not a big fan of will know what the answer is. All right, I'm going to go blackberry, I think, guys. I think the lemon lolly would look good too. And I would need to put an extra layer in with this, but I think that's what I want to do. And I've just noticed that my scoring blade has fallen out of my trimmer. I have to go looking for that. It's probably on the floor. All right. Now, we've got a lot coming up this week. For those of you who like to watch videos and maybe even craft along, we have craft along coming up on, no, not Garden Green. Garden Green I've changed my mind about Garden Green this year. I've never really liked it. And this year I've gone, you know what? I'm using it all the time, especially the Garden Green Glimmer. Oh my goodness, I love it. No, not Garden Green. There's another color that I almost never use because I just can't do it. No, not pumpkin pie, Sheila, but you're getting closer. You're getting warmer. I should do hot and cold, shouldn't I? See if anyone can guess what my least liked color is. And I don't even know why, because it's not a terrible color. I just don't use it. I don't like it as much as I like other colors, I guess. Maybe I'll change my mind on that too. Yeah, Leslie got it. No, I love Calypso Coral. Love, love, love Calypso Coral. But Leslie got it. Cajun Craze. Exactly. I don't know why. And yet, I don't mind. Let me just I'm going to grab some of these. These are the iridescent foil dots, foil gems. I love these. I think they're so nice. And I'm thinking I'm going to put one here. And I'm going to put one here where I've got a little blob of ink. That'll cover that up. And one up here. Whoop. Oh, no. That one lost its stick. There we go. Well, it gives you an idea anyway. I think we lost too much of the butterfly, but it was worth a try. And it does still work. It's not as defined as this. No, it's Cajun Craze. Oh, you know what? I don't mind wild wheat. I'm determined to try and like it. And I don't mind it, and I guess Cajun Craze is the same. I don't mind it with other colours. I just probably would never use it by itself. But I don't mind it. Like, you know that beautiful autumn paper? I've hardly used it, actually, but I should get it out and use it because it is beautiful paper. Does everyone know the one I'm talking about? The one in the new mini. And I thought I did get it out to maybe make a card with it today, but this is what I've got left of it. This one. So there's Cajun Craze and Copper Clay in here. Copper Clay I prefer. If I had to pick Cajun Craze or Copper Clay, I'd pick Copper. So there's the two. I would pick this one. A little bit more brown. I don't know why. I'm not a big fan of Cajun Craze. But anyway. We have Craft Along on Thursday the 28th, Sydney time. So if you're in the US, that'll be the evening before for you. Yeah, thank you. The first card turned out really nice, didn't it? So these are beautiful. I mean, they're actually, you know, pastels that have been turned into these beautiful 6x6 papers, and they are really gorgeous. So lots of autumny colours, which I don't mind when you throw Cajun Craze or Copper Clay in with other colours. I don't mind them. So there's some in here, and that's rather pretty. That looks really nice. And I like it with the purpley tones that they've added. I mean, that's really beautiful. Look how nice these are. Oh, it is the perfect colour for foxes. Good point, Janine. You are correct. And I think this is meant to be wheat, but I'm not real sure about that one. But there's other ones that I love. I mean, that's beautiful. Little path leading off somewhere into who knows where, but beautiful. And this one I've used, as you can see. I loved all the purple flowers. Yes. Well, I tell you what, we do have, and I may get to show you this over the next few weeks, there's a beautiful yellow suite coming in the new January catalogue, and I did purchase it, and it's gorgeous, and I can't wait to use it. And yellow is another colour I don't use all that often, but I do like it, and it does make me happy. So there we are. All right, guys, well, we're just about done today. How did we do today? I've got a big mess here on my desk, but hey, what else is new? That is not uncommon at all for me. I always end up looking like, you know, I've just thrown things around. But here you go. This is our triple time stamping. I'd love you to have a go at this and let me know what you think. Give it a try. There are some really great tutorials out there on it, but I hope this one has given you some ideas today. So any shapes you want to use, you just need to use a matching mat behind that's not too thick, and will give you a really, really great result. You can knock yourself out with dimensionals or keep it flat, totally up to you. All right, you guys. Well, I will see hopefully many of you on Thursday afternoon for Craft Along. This week we're doing lattice cards. So I really hope that you're going to enjoy them. I'm doing a whole bunch of different types of lattice cards, but we'll do one main lattice card in the Craft Along on Thursday afternoon, and I really hope you enjoy it. Those of you who ordered with me last month that are still waiting for your packs, they should be there today or tomorrow at the latest. They went priority yesterday, so they should be with you very shortly. All right, everyone, have a fantastic week. I'll just switch back to me for a second. Here I am. I hope that you have a great week ahead, and I will see you very soon. Thanks, guys.